What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 42 with Mikel and
Tanyka,
where we have conversations on different topics. So today's a special episode. We're talking about, relationships and what else, Tanyka? What encourage us and tell us what we're talking about in terms of relationships?
Well, with relationships, we're going to be just kind of talking about the different types of relationships. We're going to kind of talk about the friendship type stuff. We're going to talk about romantic, and sometimes when those romantic ones kind of go to shit. And we're going to talk even work relationships. You will hear at the end of the episode kind of a quick segment with one of my friends that kind of grew from a work relationship. So that will be at the end.
Right.
But yeah, we're going to kind of just talk about those different types of relationships.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Okay. So let's, I guess, talk friendship type relationships.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we were hoping to have some guests on this segment as well, but unfortunately, I had one friend who wasn't going to be able to make it, and another one who unfortunately is dealing with a migraine. So we don't have anything like that right now. But I can still talk about at least the one friendship that I had. It's probably one of those friendships that have been, for me, something that has gone on for many, many years. She's my longest friendship. But before I do, Mikel, do you want to talk about any kind of lasting friendships that you've had and over the years?
I mean, of course you do, and then there's another person as well. I think are the only two that I have long-term friendships with. Obviously, you know who that is. Name is Keith. We've known each other for like 20. Oh, Jesus, it sounds old. Just 20 plus years.
Yeah, the same thing with me and Letitia too.
Yeah. So like basically, we've been friends since I moved into Pickering, and ever since then we became like he became a younger brother to me. Like I mentioned in past episodes. So probably want to talk a little bit about that, not too much, because I probably talked about that previous episodes if you guys haven't heard it. So
yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll just kind of say with my friendship again, I did mention her name, which she was going to be on the episode, so I don't think that's an issue for me to say her name. But yeah, Letitia, she has been on my podcast as well, and she is kind of the friendship that it's been the longest. I believe we've been friends for 20 plus years, probably about 25 years now. It's crazy. She was someone that she came to my school, my elementary school, in grade 3. She was the new kid, but I think like what also kind of drew me to her was we didn't have a lot of colored girls in my school. We had a few, but I didn't really get along with them anyways. Not so much didn't get along with them, I just didn't connect with them in the same way. And she was kind of something, I guess, in a sense, just different. And for me, and we just became friends and became pretty inseparable, honestly. From that point on, we were so close to the point where we were in the same classes together in grade 3 and 4. But after that, we were never in the same classes together. They would always separate us. We actually thought our mothers were involved in us being separated in class because we just were rambunctious kids.
Was it because like you're in grade 4 and then she was in like grade 5, or was it
No. We are the same age.
Same age.
And we always had 2 different classrooms for each grade. We were a small school.
Right. Okay.
So we always had 2 classes for each of us. There was like 44 of us, and they would split us in half. But we were never in the same
Right.
class together. We were always separate after, like, from grade 5 on. And we were like, why are we ever in the same classroom together? Because I'd always have like classes with, I had other friends too. It wasn't like I didn't have other friends, but I did, but we were never together. And we're like, what the heck is going on? Come to find out, our teachers, the school was separating us because that's how like close we were. We would most likely disrupt the classroom because of how close we were.
Right.
But we were always very frustrated because we were never in the same class together. But yeah, like she's the person who, like, she knows everything about me. I know everything about her. There's, you know,
Yeah.
we've kind of gone through life together, and you know, she's a very important person in my life. We don't, you know, there's always been times where we don't get along or we argue or whatever. Obviously, we've been friends for a long time, but I mean, even those arguments, like, they don't last long. And so we, you know, we're always for the most part pretty good, but yeah, she's definitely an important person in my life. And yeah, like, I don't know what else to really say about that, but yeah, 25.
So
Go ahead.
how? Yeah. So when you were like in grade like 4 and 5, how would you guys like meet up? Would you meet up like after school or during lunchtime, or you know, just hang out on the weekends?
So yeah, we had recess, so we would have recess and whatever. We had obviously 2 different recesses, right? And they also had like the lunch recess and whatever. So yeah, that was where we would see each other, and we'd have like 15 minutes, I think, of recess.
Right.
And also that, like, we lived close together. We lived closely at the time, because I think at the time I was living with my grandparents, me and my mom. So we were close to each other. So, and that's the other thing too, like, we would walk home together. Like, when I was actually allowed to walk home, we would walk home together, and we would always joke that, like, if I wasn't home by like 3:30, my grandma would be like right there. Would look down the street, because like her house was like right down the street from my street, so like she could see down to see where we were. And so yeah, we would have that time too. She would come to my house all the time. We have a lot of inside jokes. She would be at my house like all the time. And she was like a family member. She is a family member, because I remember, okay, I don't apologize for what I did, because I worried about her. I worry for her. So that's, you know, that's where it comes from. But when I was about 12 or 13, where we both were, that's when Letitia started smoking like cigarettes. And I have a very not a great relationship with cigarettes. With like, my dad would smoke and stuff, and he would smoke around me, which pissed my mom off all the time. And I don't like cigarettes. Cigarettes is the devil. No offense to people who do smoke, but anyways. But she was young, and I did find out she was smoking. And I ended up telling my grandmother, because she was walking home one day during lunchtime, which she never usually did. She was walking home for lunch, and I always went home for lunch. And she was walking home, and I just kind of blurted out to my grandmother while we're driving past Letitia, and I'm like, Letitia's smoking. And my grandmother hit so hard on the brakes, waited for Letitia to get to the car, because Letitia knew something was going on too. And she walks to the car, windows rolled down. My grandmother's like, get in. Fully get in. And she's like, okay. So she gets in, and I kid you not, when we got into the house, my grandmother pulled her by the ear and said, why the hell are you smoking? And I think like my grandmother too was like, my grandparents smoked socially. So I think like they didn't at the time, but when they were younger, they did. So I think like that was part of it as well for her. She's like, what the hell are you smoking for? My Letitia does not smoke anymore. That was the last day she smoked. She never smoked again. So like that. Wow. Yeah. So that's the type of relationship we have. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. But,
I've taken care of her kids so she can go to the hospital. I've done that too. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys had a cool little friendship there.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so not much with me and Keith. I think he knows this as already. So basically, just a story. Like I told you guys before, was new in here and picking back in like 2000, and moved in. Me and my brother was looking for a park. So we went to the back and we saw a park. We go to the park. Basically, what happened, and then we saw these other kids. These other kids was Keith, Samantha, and Ashley. I don't know if it was Nicole. I don't know if Nicole was there. Not sure. Not 100% sure. Don't know if Shauna was there as well. But I always knew that Ashley and Shauna were like always together. But don't know if it was. Can't remember if it was just Keith, Samantha, and Ashley, or Keith, Samantha, Ashley, Nicole, or the other way. But either way, me and Keith kind of like connected a little more. So like I think a couple days later, I invited him to my house to play video games, and then we played like PlayStation. And then over the years, I would get him to come over more often to play PS2, Xbox 360, etc. And yeah, ever since then we liked going to movies. So like we go to like every like Marvel movie, almost every Marvel movie. We've seen almost every single Spider-Man movie together. We've seen what else? I think that's basically it. All the Marvel movies that we watch. And then what else that we have in common? I think that's about it. That's the gist of it. We just like comic book movies, video games, just like to hang out and chill and talk about other things as well. But yeah, Keith is way younger than me, by the way. We were never in the same class.
Yeah, like Keith is younger than me.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so we were never in the same class at all, and but we were still able to just hang out and just like chill as like good friends.
Yeah.
And then great friends.
Like even high school, you were gone by the time he showed up, because like,
yes,
is he like 3 years younger than me? Isn't he? Ish, 2-3 years younger than me.
30.
How old is he?
I think he's 30. No, he's like 31. 31.
Okay,
yeah, 31.
So then he's 2 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And when I went into high school, you would have been graduating that year. So I would have been in grade 11 by the time he showed up. Like you were not even in, like you guys didn't even get to experience high school together, which is, it is what it is, I guess. But yeah.
He's a cool guy, mellow, chill. At this time, he gets more girls than me, so that's it. He knows that, so yeah.
He was a cute kid. He was a cute kid.
Yeah. So that's it. Like I said, I look at him as a younger brother, and like we never have had any type of fights. I believe I'm trying to remember what type of fights that we had. I don't remember any. Just like my brother, we don't have fights at all. Me and my brother don't really have fights. So yeah, that's basically it. Appreciate you, Keith. Hope we can just go on to another 20 years of being great friends. Woo!
Okay, so the other thing too that I want to talk about, like, this is a person that I don't really like. He was a friend for sure, but I think it's kind of a good segue into the more romantic type relationship. So this person, he was a guy, like I'll say his name here, but I'll probably cut it out. His name was, and he was again he was probably one of the only colored guys in my grade. There wasn't again a lot. I think like with him there was maybe 3 in total, and I was not at all interested in the other 2. But even him, like he was a kid that I knew from first time I went to school. We were in the same, like he was there from day one. We were close from day one, and we have like, I think throughout most of school, this kind of brotherly sister type relationship. My grandmother knew his parents, and like his parents, or I should say his mom owned one of the 7-Eleven near my area. So like we're all very close, you know, and I think as time went on, for me, like I was kind of person, like even if I had a crush on you, like I wouldn't say anything. But I definitely was probably growing a little bit of a crush on him by the time I hit like grade seven.
Right.
But like I never really said anything to him or anything like that because I valued the friendship with him as well. So like I didn't want to like lose that.
Mm-hmm.
But he would come over my house every so often if we had like projects to work on or whatever. You know, there was some time that we would go over to another friend of mine. We would go to her house sometimes and we'd watch movies, whatever. Like we were all this group. But when I was leaving, like when we were separating, going to different high schools, because I was going to Notre Dame, he was going to Doc. My school fed into Doc, so we didn't go to the same school. So we were obviously separating, but we would still talk from time to time, whatever. And I actually, funny story, again, all names I'm going to take out. We actually ended up going to summer school. I had to go to summer school in grade 9 because I failed math. Also had to go to summer school. I think she had to go for a month. She failed 2 different courses and one of them was math. And unfortunately, we didn't get at the same time because it's when we were still friends. But I actually hooked her up with, and they kind of had this weird little thing.
Right.
But it didn't last long. And I remember getting so frustrated with him during summer school because he was acting like a different person. He had this new group of friends that were assholes and stuff.
Yeah.
So he would treat me the same way. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he actually gave me, it was really cute. He gave me a baby picture of him and said, keep that to remind you of me. And I'm like, okay. And I remember taking that baby picture and just throwing it in his face and saying, you're an asshole. Like, you're not the same person. Like, you're with your friends and you're acting like a jerk. Like, it's not going to happen. And he begged forgiveness, whatever. And I'm getting to the point here, trust me. He begged forgiveness and everything like that. So we say friends, whatever. And it started to shift. He was like, I'm interested in you. Like, I like you. And I'm like, what? The thing too with him is like, when he said like he liked me, it also kind of crossed, like he kind of was like, you see where I'm headed with this, like, sexual too. But that never happened. It never happened. But we definitely had like this kind of weird thing between us that unfortunately just never went anywhere because he actually had to be moved to Guelph and it just never really happened. And then he kind of fell off the face of the earth and I haven't spoken to him in like 10 years, but it was like this weird, like he would call me and whatever and check up on me. Like it was a cute little thing. I'm like, why didn't this happen before? But it just never really went anywhere. I actually saw his dad more recently because when they moved, I hadn't seen his dad, but I saw his dad as randomly one day because he works for TTC. And I randomly saw him one day. I looked over at him and I'm like, your dad. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I remember you too. And I'm like, he's like, how's your grandma? Oh yeah. But yeah, it was just this weird like thing with him, but again, never went anywhere. But yeah, we kind of segue into more of the romantic type relationships.
Yeah. So, well, let me go back to the friendship. Because like I have a question for you. Like, can a guy ever be friends with a woman?
This is like the when Harry met Sally type question. Men and women can't be friends.
Yeah.
In my experience, no. I, take it as you may, but I have not had a friend with a guy where there hasn't been something, even if it's not sexual or whatever. I just haven't had that before. So I would have to say no, personally. What do you think?
I say, yeah, unless you set some boundaries. Like, you set boundaries between that and that person. That to make sure that you guys are friends and friends only. Even though, like, there'll be times like, yes, there'll be times like you see your friend that you're attracted to. You just like you just wish you were with them, but like and then you kind of just like backtrack and be like, no, I have to stay friends. This person there.
I mean, I think for me, I think for me, I think also with you, like I know you definitely have female friends that
Yeah.
you're not like nothing's ever happened with.
Yeah.
But like for me, I think it's easier for men to maybe set those boundaries. But when you're a woman,
Mm.
even if you want to set those boundaries and you
Right.
try to set those boundaries,
Right.
I've had men does not respect the boundaries, right? I've had to literally say, okay, I can't even be friends with you, whatever.
Yeah.
Like even if I've had sex with a person and I'm trying to establish that friendship,
Yeah.
I feel like even then, like there is one person, but I've had sex with him. We had sex once and whatever. It was a one-time thing. But our friendship has lasted a lot longer than anything else ever did. But at the same time, though, it's like, I'm sorry, but if I've seen you naked as a man, like I've seen Letitia naked, she's seen me naked, whatever, but like obviously nothing's happened there. But with a man, if I've seen you naked for the mere purpose of we're gonna have sex, we're not friends. Or at least we're not just friends. Like, for me, I feel like if we're friends, I should never have seen you naked at any point at any time. So I think like that's how I interpret that. I'm sure everyone else can interpret that very differently. Like even if you have seen someone naked, you're like, well, I'm still friends with this person, whatever, it's fine. And of course, like I'm still friends with that person, but it's just like, I've seen you naked. You've seen me naked. So it's like, I feel like if you're going to have a friendship, like it should be purely that and only that. I have had that, but I'm not friends with them anymore, It's because we just lost touch with each other or whatever. But again, like those friendships started in elementary school. I was still a virgin, if you want to believe it, in elementary school. So like those things has never happened, obviously. I didn't lose my virginity until I was in high school. So,
Right.
Whatever. And again, I didn't ever slept with anyone in high school anyways.
I mean,
I didn't touch people in high school.
I mean, there are women that like basically do set boundaries as well. Like I know someone that just set boundaries.
And especially if you're successful and they respect it, great.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But in my experience, because I probably have had sex with them before, like I'm thinking of one person right now. I've known him for probably over 10 years, but I've had sexual relationship with him. And now trying to set boundaries with him now, being in a relationship with someone else who I'm not going to cheat on. Like, there's no, even if I wanted to, there's no point. Like, what the hell? I love my boyfriend, so I'm not going to cheat on him. When you try to set those boundaries, it's not respected. It's not respected at all. So that's for me, it's like, if I don't have sex with you, maybe it's easier for me to set those boundaries. But if I have had sex with you, it's difficult to set those boundaries especially with that one particular person I'm thinking of, because he doesn't care. He wants what he wants.
I mean, like when you finish with like a relationship and then you break up right after, and you guys have like you leave on like good ways, you can still be friends. You guys can like be still good
absolutely friends. I am not saying you can't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for me,
right, I
don't know what that's like. I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship with somebody or have a sexual relationship with somebody and it not be complicated, like a friendship not be complicated with sex, whether you're actively still having sex with that person or you're not. And even like if you're not, like it still takes time for that to flesh itself out, if you want to use that term, and then be able to still have that friendship. I just don't know what that's like. I just don't. But that's just my experience. I just don't know what that's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, what's next? Where are we going? We're going to the romantic side of
romantic side of relationships. Yeah.
Relationships. Okay.
Yeah.
So
now, Mikel, why don't you go first? What has been your experiences with women?
See, I only been in love twice in my whole entire life. Twice.
That's it?
Yes.
You know what? Twice. I can kind of say, really and truly, I've really only ever really been in love twice too. Even if I thought what was love, it really wasn't. But continue.
Yeah. And just basically, yeah, I have like, I dated, I don't want to be like, I want to keep this on the down low as much as
Yeah, yeah,
possible.
yeah.
But
See what you don't have to go too far
I
into
did a
anything.
lot of I did a lot of women. Have I been cheated on? Yes, I have.
We all have. Yeah.
I've been cheated on for stupid reasons. Have I ever cheated? No, I have never cheated on any women in my whole entire life.
Which is incredible because I don't know a lot of men who don't cheat or who haven't cheated or whatever. Yeah.
Hashtag black men don't cheat.
That's not true.
That's the hashtag.
I only ever really date black men, and I've been cheated on by all of them, most of them. So, yeah.
But yeah, that was just a joke. But yeah, it's just like I've been into like long-term relationships, and I've been into like short relationships. I would say the long-term relationships are like harder to just like get over.
For sure.
Yeah, the short-term ones are just like,
that's easy.
Yeah. You can just like you pause for a week and you just get back at it, Otherwise than that, I'm a single guy, and I don't know if I'm going to be in a relationship either, in the future. I don't know. For me, it's just whatever happens. Because I used to be like, I used to think like relationship. I gotta get in a relationship first, but I gotta handle other things in my life first. That's me right now, handling other things in my life first and then get into a relationship. Back then it was just relationship first and then handle other things in your life. So yeah, right now I'm thinking about being in a relationship, but at the same time not really. So even though my friends are like, or my other friends' families like, when are you going to meet a girl? When are you going to be with somebody? I'm like, it's not the only thing I'm thinking about. It's not the only thing I think about. So,
yeah.
And when you're gonna make a family, even though I'm in my mid 30s,
so different for men.
Yeah.
You can get a girl pregnant in your 80s if you want to.
Yeah,
women
yeah,
are so
you
different.
Can. Yeah, you can. It's just that when your children grows up, you get older. You get older. Unless you can, treat your body in a healthy way and to the point that you can, be around when your children's around. So
yeah, I mean, again, like, it's a reality for me too. And again, like my boyfriend's the same age as you are. But again, like, I mean, I might cut some of this out, but we are in the point of where we are trying to start a family.
Yeah.
We've been trying for like 2 years now, and it's been very difficult.
Yep.
And like I said, like he takes care of himself. I think I actually told you this before. He takes care of himself. He goes to the gym. He does all the things. And again, he's recovering. So he's not drinking. He's taking care of himself. And when we did a sperm analysis for him, he had a low sperm, like slightly. Nothing too much to worry about, not clinically anything to worry about, but he had a slight slow sperm count. So it's like, even if you're taking care of yourself, like you just never really know. And again, like even if you're taking care of yourself in terms of staying around for your kids, like again, you just never know. You don't know when the end date is going to be and whatever. Like we don't have control over that. But yeah. But anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm not focused on being in a relationship right now. Probably in the future. And I'll get there, guys. I will get there. And I don't know if I'm going to make the announcement on the podcast, but just know I will get to that point.
Depends on where you're at. And,
yeah,
sometimes you want to keep it to yourself for a time.
Most of the time. Like I said, I don't really put my relationship statuses on my Facebook or my, any type of social media out there. Like a lot of my friends don't even know that, if I'm dating somebody or not. If they ask me, I'll probably say no, but I most likely probably am talking to that person, but I'm not sure if we're going to be that serious. But yeah, I will get to that point in the future, and maybe, like I said, announce it. Not sure. So yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. For me, I mean, I've had a lot of, what I probably will call situationships more than actual relationships. But I've been in toxic relationships. I've been in relationships where I've been with serial cheaters. I'm pretty sure I actually called a boyfriend once while he was in the act of actually cheating on me. We'll talk about that another day. Maybe not. Anyways. But I think, like, for me, a lot of those, like, situationships really came to an end when I met my ex-husband. He was kind of the person that kind of showed me what it was like to be in love and love someone. And I hadn't experienced that before. Like, when I mean, like, I was kind of the person that was like, I didn't fall out easily. And like, if I didn't think I was getting anywhere with you, I'd most likely break up with you in like a month. I would be like, I'd move on to the next. Like, that was kind of how it went. With him, it was just different, and it came very quickly. And when it came quick, it hit hard. Like, it was something. It was pretty much it was a whirlwind. It just went really quick. But at the same time, like, this is kind of like example of like what I wasn't used to. When he said, like, I want to wait to have sex with you, I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to a man taking his time with me. I was used to men not taking their time with me. And it was very foreign. Now, we didn't wait as long as we intended, but, you know, whatever. But it was just like, it's hard to explain it. It was just, I was happy. I had never felt happy like that before until they came crashing. And we did kind of talk about this a little bit in our mental health episode. So I won't rehash everything, but when things started to change, I noticed it quickly. I knew something was up because this was a person that, like, now I don't suggest this, and I'm going to use this as also like a warning as well, just to be careful and have your wits about you. But this was a person who, like, would say he wanted to get me pregnant even before we started having sex. And I was 22 when I met him. I wasn't ready to get pregnant. I knew I wanted to be a mother, but I knew I didn't want to get pregnant at 22.
Yeah.
So I took matters into my own hands. He refused to use protection, so I would use the morning after pill. He didn't like that. And once I was able, because I couldn't get birth control because I was just starting a new job, so I had to wait for my benefits to kick in. But once they did, I got on the pill immediately. He didn't like that either. And because I think at that point I had aged out of, like, Planned Parenthood or whatever. I'd aged out of that, so I couldn't even go there. So it was just like, okay, I have to get this, I actually didn't age out of it, but I didn't want to spend like $10 on birth control when I can get it for free. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna wait for this, do what I gotta do. We didn't have sex often, so I was able to just do what I had to do, get on the pill, and protect myself. So this is more like a PSA for women: just be careful when men tell you shit like that. If you're not ready, don't do it because he wants to. Just protect yourself.
I see. When it comes to us men, I don't understand getting women pregnant.
He did get someone pregnant, just not me.
Yeah, I know. If you, as a man, are not ready for it, and the woman's not ready for it either. Mm-hmm. So, like, I always think of, like,
he was ready.
Yeah,
he wanted to be a young father. That's what he wanted.
I never understood it because you need you need money. I'm sorry.
You need money, but not only that, like, he was working. I was working. Money wasn't the issue. It's the issue was we don't know each other. Why am I going to get pregnant for someone I don't know? Right? We haven't had it really, truly fought at that point. We're in this honeymoon stage, right? We haven't gone through the hell yet in our relationship. We both need to know what it's like to go through hell with each other and know we're going to come out the other side.
Yeah,
right?
and I'm always thinking about the woman when I'm having like any type of intercourse.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm always thinking about the woman and myself, like in terms of like when we're having intercourse, or because like I might put your life in danger if you become pregnant, or that's what I'm thinking about in my head all the time, in terms of if I put you if I put you in that situation. So are we going to take care of it? Are we going to like what are goals? Are we in a relationship, etc.? A lot of things going through my head, when I'm just
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, like, I don't want to say, like, it's also your responsibility, women as well. Like, it's not just on the men. The men
Yeah.
definitely do need to take responsibility as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to, protecting yourself in all ways
100%.
and with everything. But yeah, like, it's,
I do admit, like in my earlier time, yes, I
Mhm.
didn't, but like at the time, like
Of
when
course.
I
Yeah.
started like growing as a person,
Yeah.
I start to like realize this is the safer way to just try to like
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
respectful towards your partner, and knowing what you want in your future, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, again, like, that's the thing. Like, in, I'm going to use my current relationship as an example. We've been together for like off and on for 7 years now. But I
Yeah.
met him when I was 26. He was 29. And, you know, initially, I don't think there was ever a point in our sexual relationship where we weren't protected, whether it was him using condoms or me on the pill. And when I didn't want to be on the pill anymore, because I had been on the pill off and on throughout my life, but the last time with him, when I came off of it, I had a little bit of a scare. My period didn't come for like 2-3 months, which I'd never had that experience before. I'd been on the pill with a couple different partners prior, with my ex being included, and I didn't have that happen to me. And like, again, though, me going on the pill with my ex was me taking charge. Me being on the pill with that previous partner and my current, that was a decision we made together, because either we didn't want to use protection or whatever.
Right.
So that was a decision that was made together. But it was like, I never was in a situation with my ex or my current, where I had to worry about that. Like, of course, we're gonna have moments where you're gonna be like, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
something, could have happened or whatever. But I would say in the last 2 years with us trying to get pregnant, that's the only time where we have just, sorry for the pun, just balls to the wall, really and truly, and just let it all go. We've never done that before. So that's how it should be when you're having conversations, or you're just protecting each other, not just your partner, but yourself as well.
Yeah,
Right?
I just never understand, because there's a lot of like men and women too. Women can be selfish, and then men can be selfish. I like, in the past, I hear that like women who want to be pregnant at 16. I'm like,
I don't know how much of those people are real, but when I watch like shows like Unexpected, for example, it's on TLC, and you hear 16-year-olds kind of be like, we don't like to use protection, or I didn't think I could get pregnant, or whatever. And it's like, listen, I was sexually active at 16, okay? And I never, ever would have had sex with anybody. And I think at the time I only had the one partner. I can't remember exactly when I kind of started with other people, but I never would have had unprotected sex at 16, 17, 18. I never would have. So I just never understand kids these days that are just like, I don't like using protection. You should not know what the difference is
Right.
at 16, whether it's better with or without a condom.
Right.
I mean, yeah, sure, it's better without a condom, but you don't deserve to feel the difference at 16, 17, 18
Yeah.
until you're ready to reap the consequences.
Do you think it's our fault as a society that we made that happen? Because, like,
I think so.
you know, yeah, because remember classes in Notre Dame, right? The school that we went to, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to have like parent class. I know they're supposed to set us up in the future, but like,
no, that's supposed to be a way to abstain from sex. That's why they do it. It's not about planning for the future or knowing what to do once you have a kid yourself. It's supposed to abstain from having sex. Because again, we're a Catholic school, right? Our school, they teach abstinence, right? That's what you're supposed to do. If you go to a public school, they teach you how to put a condom on a banana. We don't do that in a Catholic school. No, I never did.
No. We did have sex ed though, like
sex ed, yes, but they still teach you abstinence because religion tells you you're not supposed to have premarital sex, right? They still teach you sex ed, but I still never learned how to put a condom on. I never knew how to put a condom on until I think I had to learn that in the moment. And I think, I don't know if it was like a kinky thing or something, but a guy made me put a condom on him. That was the first time I learned how to put a condom on. I had never done it before. So I think there still needs to be a happy medium where it's like, okay, you're still preaching to kids abstinence in a Catholic school, but I still think like you need to kind of teach kids the right thing because there is a proper way to put a condom on. So, you know, like, yeah.
Right. But,
yeah.
I think that's basically what I have to say. It's just protect yourself when you're in a relationship, as well as when you're in, if you're doing a one night stand.
You're just having fun. Yeah.
Protect yourself, and that both men and women, protect yourself, or men and men, bro.
Yeah. Well, girl, I don't know how you do that, but men, yes. But again, even then, like, if you don't want to necessarily, because obviously men are not going to be able to get pregnant or anything, but because I was actually going to say too, it's also going to protect you from STIs, or BBIs. But with men, if it's men on men together, there's PrEP. There's things like that you can protect yourself as well. If if you're not going to necessarily use protection, at least you'll have PrEP. But it's yeah. But that was kind of like with my experience with him. Like I had to protect myself because I did not want to get pregnant early. I did agree with him. I said, listen, give me a year. If we can wait a year in our relationship, go through the trials and tribulations and we can talk about it. But yeah, before that ever happened, like I said, I did have the inkling of something was going on. He wasn't the same with me. And when you go so drastically with a person that like, will say the I miss yous, the I love yous and all of that, and all of a sudden that just stops. And it's like, just without warning, it just stops. And, he tried to break up with me. I saw him like 2 days prior, and then like 2 days later, he's like, I think we need to break up. And it's like, what the hell? Like, we had a good day. Like, what's going on? Like, it was completely out of the blue. So I knew something was going on. And I didn't know for sure. Because again, women who are in relationships with, whether it's men or other women, when you're being cheated on, something's up. And I knew something was up. I just didn't have the proof. And I'm not going to accuse someone of cheating on me until I have proof. And the proof finally came, and I did talk about this in the mental health episode, so I won't go through it again, like I said, but the proof did finally come to me, and I was able to confront him with it. And yeah, he was cheating on me. And I would later find out, maybe a year or so later, year and a half later, that there was actually 2 people that he was cheating on me with. One of them was more like a one-time thing, but he did cheat. And I found out about the other one from the one that he was mainly cheating on me with. Because I'm like, oh, okay. I'm an investigator. I investigated and I had an inkling that the person that he was cheating on me with was this person. We'll call her M. I don't know what. But I ended up finding it wasn't M, it was C. But then C told me about M. And then I was like, oh, so I was right all along. There was an M, and just I was not right about exactly what was happening. But don't mess with a person. I'm going to find you out. But that tore me apart. It tore me apart when I found out that the cheating was happening. Again, I wasn't innocent. I was doing my own thing because I was young. I felt abandoned by him, but it definitely didn't last as long as he was. But anyway, but then you get torn apart again even more when you find out that the person that you wanted to have a child with, that you were in love with, is having a child with somebody else. You don't come back from that. And when he was deported, that was a whole other set of emotions that I still to this day cannot talk about without crying. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I didn't come back from that either. And that shapes who you become in relationships, that you can't come back from certain things. You don't trust in the same way that you did. So when I met my current, it took me a long time to not only fall in love with him, but then to admit it to myself. And when I did finally admit it to myself, it scared the living hell out of me. I was terrified to fall in love with somebody because the last time I did, I got hurt. But, and again, with him, it wasn't easy. He cheated on me too. It wasn't an easy situation to go through. There was things that were said that you also don't come back from, that you don't trust in the same way. But where we are now, we've been pretty consistent now for about 3 years. We've been doing really, really well. That who he is today is not who he was when I met him.
Right.
And I can't picture life without him at this point. And it feels good to be in love with somebody and not be afraid to be in love with somebody. But so I guess with my thing, what I'm saying here is it is possible, if you do get hurt in ways that, I had to go to therapy to deal with. It is very possible to come out the other end and be okay. And the friendship with my ex and the relationship morphed into what was a romantic one that is now a friendship one that, I care about him. I want the best for him. But really and truly, can you really have the best when you already have the best? You screw it up. But anyways, it's a different thing with him now. And it's also very possible to have that, but not everyone has that. So, but that's kind of what it is for me. Again, like I said before, I really, truly have only ever really been in love twice. And that was with my ex, and that's with my current. I would have taken a bullet for my ex. I will take a bullet for my current. I don't want to do that. Please don't ever put me in a position I have to do that. But I would. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Like I said, I only fell in love twice. And, I no longer speak to those people anymore. So, basically, I don't know whenever I'm going to fall in love ever again. So, like I said, possibly in the near future when I do start looking, but who knows? So, that's basically it for me.
Yeah, I'm happy I don't have to date in today's society. I hear it's scary. But I guess we can kind of just move on then to work relationships. What about
are you talking about the friendship aspect, or are you talking about the relationship aspect? So basically,
well, I guess we can kind of do both. Yeah, we gotta do both. Yeah.
Okay. My work friends are gonna my past work friends, if they do listen to this, are going to not like me. Go ahead though. You go first.
Me? Okay. So yeah, had definitely, work relationships that have started and ended with those places. I've had those type of friendships, or I guess you can say work relationships that kind of stick to the workplace, and that's kind of it. So very rarely have I had work friendships actually last past that. So I think really the only ones that really have are the ones that I've made out of my current workplace, is kind of the ones that I've had like the lasting friendships. And that kind of would be, again, I'll kind of take some of the names out here because they haven't been on the podcast before. So I guess really only one actually. So Shannon is kind of the one that she started maybe a year and a half, 2 years after I did. She actually replaced me in the first job that I had there. So when I moved off of reception, she was on reception, and we connected in like the weirdest of ways. Like we connected on the shows that we watched. Like it's crazy because like I have like the friendship have survived off the like TV shows that I've had that we watched together. Like with her, we would connect on like, we both love true crime, and we would watch You, and we connected on that. We connected on The Crown. We watched The Crown, and like we would connect on like those things. But I think like the thing, I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say, but I think like the thing that like really connected us was the fact that we're both so sorry. We're both sexual people. And we connected on the fact that like we're both like that kind of person in our relationships. Like we're very open. And I'm usually not open in that sense with it really anyone except maybe Letitia. But I was like, she's kind of the only other person that like I'm actually pretty open with, like, when in terms of our sex life. But again, like even then, like I'm still very close off. Like my sex life is still very personal. Like I don't really talk about that with everybody. Like, so I just don't. But like with her, like I can, generally speaking, we are pretty comfortable talking about those things. Some of the journeys that we've went through in life, we're very comfortable talking about those things that maybe we're just not as comfortable with other people. Like she is either still pregnant or almost about to have her baby. We connected on the fact that we were both trying to get pregnant, and the trials and tribulations that come with that. We've connected with that. Like, and that's kind of something that I don't really have with other people. So we were able to kind of really have a friendship off of that. And she left my place after the pandemic started, I think maybe in 2021. She left. But our friendship has definitely lasted past that. We'll do lunches every so often. I mean, now that she's on mat leave, I probably won't see her for like a year, but like, yeah, we definitely connected on that sense. And then you'll hear from me and Ava in a little bit. So I won't rehash that with her. So you'll hear that there. But with Sharon, she was going to be on the episode. Again, we've kind of talked about this. It's very rare that I have really connected with articling students. I can really only think of, in the time I've been there, 3 of them that I've really connected with and had a friendship with. One of them is still employed with us. And again, we, weirdly enough, connect on television shows. Me and him will talk about Bachelorette or Bachelor or MILF Manor. And this is like a straight white guy. It's crazy. But anyways, we'll connect on that. But I don't really have like articling students that I really connected with in that sense that have been lasting past that. But Sharon is one of those people. I don't know if her being a woman has kind of like helped with that or whatever. Like, I don't know. We've been pretty even with the gender with, articling students. But with her, like, again, we just connected on the fact that we watched Love is Blind and all that. And our friendship has definitely lasted past her being an articling student. She left a year ago, and we've been friends ever since. and, we'll catch up with each other and, try and do lunch or whatever. She doesn't work far from me. She just works like I'm pinpointing where I work. I'm not going to do that. I'm at Wellington, not saying the intersection. She's at King. So it's like we're just literally like right by each other. But yeah, that's kind of my work relationships, really.
Yeah.
And of course, like I have a working relationship with my boss, but again, that's very different. But
yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But, we can joke with each other once in a while and we'll talk about different shows or whatever. Like when Baby Reindeer came out, we talked about that, and we can do that. And obviously, like, with my health the last few months or whatever, like, he's checking in on me with that and stuff like that. But like, it's very different with him. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for me.
Yeah. So
you'll hear from me a bit later. But yeah.
So yeah, I've made a lot of friendships in workplaces and I would say I had a couple relationships as well. And I'm very open to having relationships at work, so that's who I am as well. But I'm also very open to having friendship from the workplace and beyond. So I'm going to say a couple people that I have made friendships through work. I'm going to shout out, RJ, who's been on this podcast before.
Oh, I didn't know you met him through work.
Yes, I met him through work. And ever since then, I think I don't want to say the workplace. We just want to say a workplace. What year was it? It was 2017 going to 2018. And now we're in 2024. So it's been like, I would say, 7 years now. 7 years that we've been, friends. Such a good friend, caring guy. When we were just working, he would just always help me out if I needed help in certain places, and then we would, bond over obviously video games and other things like childhood and what else, movies as well. Even though he's not like the movie type of guy anymore, he used to be, but not anymore. But yeah, we bond over that. We still talk on the phone to this day. Like he's such a great person in my life that I appreciate him almost every single day. Him and his wife, he also met his wife through work as well. So that was pretty cool that he met his wife through work and they got married, and he actually invited me to his wedding one day and surprised me with signing off for his marriage. I don't know what's that called. If you sign off
so you're like a witness.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you have to have 2 witness signatures on the marriage certificate.
Yeah. He surprised me. He didn't tell me. I was like, out of nowhere.
No, he didn't tell you. Or him?
He didn't tell me. No. He's like, yeah.
I mean, at least I had the decency to ask first when I had people sign mine.
No. It was a shock, and I was like, huh? Me out of all people? So I was like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I
signed
can't remember
it.
if you can have family sign it, but anyways, I can't remember. I got married 10 years ago. I can't remember.
I'm guessing him and his father made that decision. They talked about it, and I guess, and RJ just probably said me, so but he didn't want to tell me, so he probably wanted to keep a surprise and just be like, So and then when he did his his wedding vows, but his announcement, he included me and told me all the text messages that you sent me, see if I'm all right, see if I keep in trouble. That tells me that our friendship will always be in good hands. So I do appreciate you, RJ, and just like Keith, hopefully we can continue being great friends in the future. And yeah, another one that's and there's a couple more, but that's just new, but I won't say their names as well. But the second one that I was going to confirm, I'm going to say Matthew. So when I got laid off from my other workplace basically like 3 months beforehand. I started training this guy. He was very quiet, shy, and all that stuff. I was basically a team leader in the back room, just to say that. And I was training him, and very shy, didn't know what to do. I was just telling him this and that and etc. And he was always open to just try to grow as a person and try to be better than he already is. And so far, he has grown into a better person than he was before. When he got into the workplace that I was in, he was a little slow, but over time he got faster because I trained him, helped him out, told him some advice about the workplace in the future, and then also told him some like life advice as well. And then I would host movie nights for like a lot of the co-workers. So he would be always open to to include himself into these invites. And yeah, I don't talk to him that much. I kind of want him to just like do his own thing at times. But he's growing every single day because he recently started like driving because he was afraid of driving. Because we went to a meetup towards another coworker, and the first thing when we were done, he said like, "Mikel, do you want to drive?" I was like, "Oh yeah. You drive?" I was like, "Yeah, I do drive now." I was like, "Oh, okay." And so he just drove me home and everything, single thing. And yeah, so hopefully, like we're doing a movie night. I think in a couple weeks we're seeing Deadpool 3, and I'm bringing like a bigger group. So it's a mixture of like coworker and friends as well. And he's coming. So like be hearing this, Matthew. Hopefully you continue to grow as a person. And yeah. And actually, you know what? There is a third person. I don't know if I should just say her name.
Well, I can always cut it.
Okay. Well, no, don't cut it. Don't cut it. So I just want to say it anyways. And if she says I can or cannot, I'll talk to her about it. So Tess, her name is Tess. Very great woman. I met her at my workplace. Hardworking, always smiling, great personality, and always bringing people together when it matters. And I really, really appreciate her, even though like I don't always talk to her every single day. And I think just a couple days ago, we had a get together with former co-workers, and she hosted it, and she continues to host these get-togethers, which is pretty cool, which I appreciate. So I like to shout her out as well, and hopefully we'll continue being friends, and she's like a mother, I would say, another mother, I would say, a little bit, I would say. And yeah, I did say two, but I forgot about the third person that I should say, and that third person's her. So yeah, but yeah, it is hard to make friends in workplaces, really is.
Yeah,
to keep in contact, and I understand that people have their own situations to do, like their life situations, or they don't want to be associated with work, or they're sick and tired of work, etc. Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, like I said, it's really hard to make friends at work because you don't know if that person wants to be there or wants to be friends with you, or yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So again, we're gonna segue into the quick segment with another work friend of mine, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay, so it's just me, Tanyka, and we're having a conversation with a friend of mine who, if you listen to my other podcast, you would know her from that podcast. But we're talking with Ava.
Hey, what's poppin'?
She's new to this podcast, but yeah, we're just gonna have a little conversation about like work friends and how work friends can blossom. So yeah, just to give the background, basically me and Ava met. She started working at my law firm back in 2019. And, we kind of just became friends. Like, obviously, I was helping her. And it was I guess I was kind of training you in a sense.
Yeah.
I think
with boarding.
Yes. And obviously dealing with who we call Dino.
Oh, Dino? So Dino?
Well, we can also call him Feces too, but I feel like that's mean.
That's an inside joke, so,
He don't listen to this podcast.
No.
Can you imagine?
No.
The man can't send an email.
I'm getting flashbacks because remember that time he called his office to press the X to close the browser? Wow. Yeah. This is our workplace, guys. So.
And remember the bacon and the tooth?
Yeah.
JC was telling everybody at the summer party. It was great.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's great. Anyway, that's how we met. And I think we figured out our love for reality TV. We kind of realized that. And I think that's kind of where the friendship kind of blossomed from there. Because she only worked at my place for 3 months. And the friendship just kind of continued past that, throughout COVID. And obviously we initially started my other podcast together, and yeah, so it was kind of went from there. I think we kind of figured out, like, we watched 90 Day, we watched Married at First Sight. I think that was which one?
The Bachelor.
Oh, The Bachelor. I think also with Married at First Sight, it was that season with who you call Mermaid and Mr. Clean.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
I can't remember their name. They're not together anymore. But yeah, it kind of came from there. And I think, besides Sharon, who Ava doesn't know, but the listeners have heard from Sharon, you're the only friendship that I've had through work that's lasted this long. Outside of work. Like, I don't think I really had any lasting friendships from work. It's just, and Sharon, like, I only met her a couple years ago. It's still ongoing too, but it's crazy. I don't know if you've had that, where you've had friendships kind of from work last.
Yeah, but like in my younger years, so like when I used to work in McDonald's, like 15, 18 years ago, yeah, I still have some of those friends and we still talk and we catch up. Actually, for my birthday, we just like met up and like, caught up on some things. But yeah, but not in like recent jobs, I would say. It's hard in your adulthood to make friends, I think.
I think so.
I feel like sometimes people just like, they either have problems connecting or they're just not interested in making work friends, which is what I kind of was. I kind of just want to keep my head down, go to work, do my thing, and get out. But sometimes, you don't plan these things and they happen. And when you vibe with someone, you just vibe with them. Like, your energies match. Everything is in sync. The stars have aligned. You can't ignore that. Well, I can't anyway.
I think the biggest thing is to have a connection outside of the workplace.
Yeah.
And like with me and you, we established that we had this connection outside of the workplace. And I guess like the other person too would be, but my friendship with Shannon is so different. I'll bleep her name out. But my friendship with her is so different than it is with you. Like, so much more going on than does. Like, it's just a very different friendship with her versus with you. And it started on our love for reality television. We connected over
people close together.
right, because not a lot of people watch the crazy, especially with like, I think we connected at the time with Angela and Michael actually. And we were like, oh, you watch 90 Day Fiance? Oh. And yeah, like that's kind of like, I think that's the most important thing is to
We have
establish
literally
that.
spent our mornings like catching up on
Yes.
like previous episodes, whatever happened that weekend on
Which is
90 Days.
something we still do.
Literally our entire morning, mostly. Like it was crazy.
And that's why we had the discussions of starting the podcast. And my other podcast too was the fact like we talk so much shit about these people. Like we should start a podcast. And yeah, so I think that's like the biggest thing is like you can establish that and like over time, like whatever boundaries you might have or walls you might have up, they kind of just naturally break down, you know? So I think like that's like the most important thing is having that. Whereas like with other people that I've had like friends over the years and workplaces and stuff, we didn't have that, you know? We didn't talk with them outside of work and stuff like that. Like most of the people, like all the people I work with, I care about and whatever, and care about what's happening in their life and whatnot. But we don't talk outside of work.
Yeah.
Whereas
Or
with me and you, it's
know,
different.
like kind of surface level, like, you know,
Yeah.
hey, this weekend. Okay, sounds fun. The weather's nice out. Like, you know, it's very like
Yeah.
cut and dry kind of thing. But yeah, again, it goes back to the energy and the vibe and who you think you can trust and, you know, how open they are. Because, you know, people have to be open to certain things and conversations. And some people just also aren't available. You know what I mean?
People have so much going on in their lives too. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know.
Exactly. So some people just aren't. But yeah, we just happened. That's how I see it. We just happened. And it's crazy like that we've been friends longer, like over the phone, over WhatsApp and videos and stuff like that than in person.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. It's yeah, because I mean, like even after you left, we would do like the lunches and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say the restaurants in case people live in or near Toronto can pinpoint where I work. But we would do these lunches that again started with me and you, and then we kind of branched out to other people. We would come and vegan.
Oh my gosh. You
Uh,
said no longer vegan. Did you?
no, he's not vegan anymore, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And again, we're not being mean. It's in the inside thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we did, and then COVID hit and ruined everything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So work friends are great. Work friends are great.
Yeah. Work friends are great.
Yeah.
When the vibe is right and you guys have some common interests, I think it can work out.
Exactly. And we had the inside jokes and all that, and
Oh yeah, we have jokes
we
a lifetime.
we just showed you.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else I want to add. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of.
Alrighty. But yeah, if you want to hear more from Ava, you can definitely head over to my podcast, and somewhere in there's episodes. We just did an episode for Love in Paradise. That's by the time this comes out, actually, Love in Paradise is done. So we're recording this in June, guys. Sorry. Love in Paradise is probably done at that point. By the time this episode comes out. But yeah, there's a few episodes there, and yeah, she's definitely there. But anyway, that's it.
So this ends episode 42 of the Next Tape Podcast. The Next Tape Podcast is available now on all podcast platforms. We also have a website called solo.to/Next Tape Podcast. Tanyka, where else are we at?
We are on Facebook and Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter and TikTok at Next Take Pod.
As well, you can contact us on our email at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. That is Mikel, Tanyka@gmail.com. So yeah, we talked about relationships and different types of relationships. Like you said, Tanyka, friends and relationships and then work relationship. And then I think that's basically it. Am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have nothing to say. Just, well, actually, you know what? I have something else to say. Just protect yourself or protect each other when in terms of relationships. And, and then in terms of friendships, always be there and always be caring and kind and, and sharing with your friends. And when it comes to like coworkers, be professional and be I'm missing that, Tanika. Be professional and
Professional and
can't say
don't be toxic.
don't be toxic at all
Don't be
in the
toxic.
workplace.
Yeah.
Don't be toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I will say.
Yeah. So yeah, just be good. Just be good. All right. I'm Mikel, and
And I'm Tanyka.
we're out until next week. See you later, guys.
Bye.